You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's a big world out there, and you're just looking for a pat on the back or head. You run around the city, searching for a place to bark, working your tail off with your nose to the ground, sniffing for a few scraps, hoping someone will throw you a bone. You take each lead, collar after collar, hoping one day to take a bite out of success and become the top dog. Fortunately, you come home each day to open arms, open cans, a drink waiting for you, and a comfortable place in front of a TV set. You know you've got it good, really good, because after all, it's a doggy dog world out there. Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with your host, pet expert, and award-winning author Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palaika, and with me today are my good friends Petra Burke.
Hello.
And Kate Abbott.
How do?
And a bunch of our dogs. Kate has Qwill, her Jack Russell Terrier, and Walter, her Cockapoo. Petra has her Aussie Rio, her youngest. And then I have Sisko and Bashir, two of my three Aussies with me. And where are we? We're recording this from Redwood Forest between Big Sur, California and Carmel. And
in a cabin,
a rustic cabin.
Yep.
And we'll tell you the story of this because we've talked about traveling with dogs many times, but this is our newest adventure. So stay tuned for our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. It's a Doggy Dog World. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Is the coast clear?
Yes. Let's go.
Are you sure they went to Petco?
Where else would they go?
Oopsie.
Calm down.
I smell presents.
Go to PetLifeRadio.com/Petco and get up to 40% off hundreds of holiday items at Petco. PetLifeRadio.com/Petco.
Uh-oh, step on it.
Okay.
Oh, not on my tail.
Petco, where the pets go.
The Boo Boo Loon Pet Recovery Collar is an innovative inflatable product that comfortably restricts pets from harming most surgical wounds, skin disorders, and obsessive licking or scratching. It's the humane alternative to the hard plastic cone and other devices. The Boo Boo Loon is easy to use and designed to be soft, fully adjustable, and pillow-like, allowing for unrestricted vision and complete freedom of movement. Sizes range from extra small to extra large. So join the Boo Boo Lution. Become a Boo Boo Buddy on Facebook or check out boobooloon.com. BOOBOOLOON.com.
Hi everybody, I'm Megan Blake here with my sidekick Super Smiley, the giant mutt and spokes dog for throwaways. You're listening to Pet Life Radio, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new show, A Super Smiley Adventure. Our show explores adventures with animals. They can be traveling, out in the world trips, or inner journeys where our animals lead us to inspiration and self-discovery, or just plain fun adventures. Join us here on Pet Life Radio on A Super Smiley Adventure. Good boy.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. We started this adventure four days ago.
Yep, Saturday morning.
Right. Every few years, we try to do it yearly, but we haven't been able to do that recently. Petra, Kate, and I try to take a girls' trip, get away from it all, get away from work, take some dogs. We do travel with dogs. We like to travel with dogs. I'm taking a class right now, and one of my class members said, "You're taking dogs on vacation? You're taking 5 dogs on vacation? Why do you do that?"
I don't know why people just look at you weird. And I'm like, yeah, myself and 2 best friends of mine, we're all going together and bringing our dogs. Dogs? You're bringing your dogs? Well, yeah, why not? People think it's weird.
Well, the morning after you had that conversation at class, Liz, I was sitting outside a Starbucks with 3 dogs and watching about 4 moms, and each of them had 1 or 2 kids. And I thought, why would you bring a kid to Starbucks? And then I realized I was sitting there with 3 dogs. And they were probably thinking the same thing. So.
Well, we take dogs on vacation, one, because dogs are our companions. We love it. Walter and Bashir have been on multiple vacations before, so they're old pros. But they still see new things.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of, Bashir, who hates water, so much so I say that he must have drowned in a previous lifetime, has gotten quite brave this time with water. He didn't willingly jump into the surf in the beach, but he got his feet wet, his legs wet.
He ran along in the water.
And was very proud of himself.
Well, Bashir and water in a positive sentence never happened.
Never happens.
Never.
I mean, he would prefer to get all his water from ice cubes if he could. So this is just amazing that he conquered this.
It's a breakthrough. He conquered his fears.
At the creek, he got all 4 feet in. Now, granted, just his feet, but just the fact that he willingly did that.
A couple of years ago, he would have stood back and snorted in disgust.
In total disgust. And then, of course, each of us has an adolescent puppy. Petra has Rio, I have Sisko, and Kate has Qwill. And this is their first trip. And so watching them discover all these new things makes a trip worthwhile. I mean, it's fascinating to watch them.
It's a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with it. So.
Particularly have gotten a kick out of how they figured out each place is home.
So quickly.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we go out for a potty break and we come back. That's our door. That's our place.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, Walter, the seasoned traveler, has been the more reactive of them. But of course, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's just Walter. Yeah. Well, let's go back and we'll take you through the last 4 days. First day, we didn't leave really early. It was a Saturday, and so we were going to take our time. And since 3 of the puppies hadn't traveled before, and we were only going, about 4 hours away, we said we'd take as many rest stops as we needed and take our time. Well, it's a good thing that was our plan. I
thought we weren't leaving very early just so that we could wait until classes were going on at the field. And as we drove by out of town, we could holler and scream and honk on the horn and wave goodbye to them all.
Well, that was the plan, too.
We're just all a little excited.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah. So as we went by the Kindred Spirits dog training field, I laid on the horn, honk, 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 honk. Petra and Kate screamed and hollered. and our trainers hollered back at us. Yeah.
Now, the trainers knew that we were going to go by and holler, but
Yes.
a friend of mine was actually in the morning puppy class, and she could not figure out what all the commotion was for a few minutes. And then somebody explained it to her. She went, oh, hi!
Oh, that's funny. But as Kate reminded me afterwards, Sisko had a little stressed digestive system. He had some soft stools. But as Kate reminded me, the last time he went for a trip like this, his whole world turned upside down. That's when my husband and I went to Arizona and picked him up and brought him to California, which was total culture shock. And so packing up and going on a big trip like this, either he got a little motion sickness or it was stress. And knowing Sisko, it could have been stress. He tends to think about things a lot. So first day he got major Pepto.
First day we were 20 minutes out of town when it was decided we needed a potty break. For everybody.
Yes. And then we stopped about every hour and a quarter, hour and a half.
Yeah.
And he did have an accident the first night, but I couldn't blame him for that. Then he got major Pepto and half a motion sickness tablet and everything calmed down. So that was the big excitement of the first day. But we made it to Morro Bay.
I'm like, where are we? Morro Bay.
Morro Bay is a nice little village on the California coast.
With their pet rock.
With their pet rock. This is a great big, huge volcanic boulder that sits in the bay.
It's great.
And it's either a state park or a regional park. But dogs are allowed north of the rock on the beach. Mm-hmm. And so we had been to a Motel 6 there in Morro Bay previously, and we liked it because it was within walking distance of this beach. Mm-hmm. So I had made reservations for this same motel. Bad choice.
Yeah.
It has gone downhill.
we're thinking ownership change or something.
Franchisee change or something.
Something.
So,
Yeah.
although we usually don't like to give negative reviews, we have to say they do allow dogs, and there's a place next door for the empty lot for the dogs to go potty, and the dogs
It's within walking dog.
and it is walking distance to the beach. But I can't say it was a particularly enjoyable motel.
Right.
And we've stayed in lots of Motel 6s, and we usually don't have a problem with them. Now, walking down to the beach was great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so short of a walk, and we all were tired. I think dogs were overstimulated. Birds and poor Quill. Oh, my gosh. Birds. Didn't know what
Seagulls.
to do with themselves.
Target acquired, target acquired, target acquired.
There's smoke coming out of his ears.
Now,
And there, apparently that's, the beach is right next, just off the beach is the snowy plover
breeding grounds, yes.
And so that part the dogs are not allowed in, but there were tons of birds, in between on that area, so.
Yeah.
He lost
then,
his little
and then it
mind.
was just a short drive, a couple miles maybe, downtown Morro Bay along the harbor there.
And that's a very pleasant walk. Lots of restaurants, lots of shops, some just plain tourist shops, but lots of shops. We did some shopping.
We did.
But it's very nice to walk through the village of Morro Bay. And we walked it with all 5 dogs, and there are places where they can go potty and always clean up. That's a pet peeve of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the park just south of downtown Morro
Right.
on the beach is just lovely.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Beautiful. Benches to sit in. There's a public park in the middle of Morro Bay, just a small little park with a gigantic chessboard with public restrooms and grass for the dogs. So very nice. Mm-hmm. The town overall is very dog-friendly.
Oh, it is. Definitely.
There's unfortunately too often when we're out and about in public with our dogs, or not with our dogs, that we see too many ill-behaved dogs.
Yes.
But I was very pleased.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of dogs in cars yapping, but other than that, the dogs that we passed on the street were well behaved.
Very well behaved.
Stuck with their owners and moved on past, and no fuss, no muss.
Yeah.
I'm just, I think there's not one of them that lunched or anything.
The only one that scared us was that German Shepherd in the back of the open pickup truck.
Well,
and we
didn't know if he was restrained or not. I think there was 2 of them actually.
Oh, okay.
And the only one I saw was half his body was practically outside the back of a pickup that didn't. The shell
was
part
open,
wasn't closed, and we're like, time to go back now.
Yeah. Let's just not tempt this.
No.
And there was even a bakery that offered homemade dog biscuits.
Yes.
However, our resident nutrition talked to them.
Well,
nutritionist.
They had four recipes of fresh baked dog biscuits, and of course, so I went in. They looked very nice and 4 different flavors, but they were all made with wheat flour. And so I told her, since we had a couple of allergic dogs in our group, we couldn't have any. And she says, I've heard that from a few other dog owners. And so I said, you can probably make these same recipes using either potato flour or rice flour or other flours that don't cause allergies like wheat flour. And then one of the ladies behind the counter says, my dog scratches all the time. He licks his feet, he chews at the base of his tail. And I said, that's pretty symptomatic of a food allergy. And I said, and wheat flour is one of the primary culprits. We'll have to try that. And I said, if you even had one flavor of your biscuits that didn't have any wheat flour, I'd have probably bought a dozen. Mm-hmm. But I can't buy any because they all have wheat flour. Oh, I'll have to try that.
So how long has it been since the last time we were up here?
Oh,
about 3 years.
4 years.
So in 3 or 4 years, when we come back through Morro Bay,
we'll go to that bakery.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so day 2 started with a walk through downtown Morro Bay again and breakfast in downtown. Very good breakfast. Can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was...
The Coffee Pot.
There it is, the Coffee Pot.
Run by a gentleman who had his autobiography all over the place where you could buy it.
The Chinese orphan.
Chinese, beaten, starved orphan who came to America and made it good.
But it was a very good breakfast. The bacon was awesome.
It was delicious.
Handmade sausages.
And then we headed north. We're just going a couple hours north to San Simeon. Now,
Doggy.
That's
wasn't all that pretty.
Yeah, the
It's
drive
like, oh,
drive
man.
was twisty roads, starting the climb up towards Big Sur, and it was foggy.
Of course, we often go in the off season because less crowds. So.
Yeah, yeah. San Simeon might be familiar to some of our listeners because that's where the Hearst Castle is. That's not why we go there.
They don't allow dogs on the tour.
Yeah, but this time in San Simeon, we stayed at the Cavalier Best Western Resort, and that got 5 thumbs up, 5 stars.
5 paws, whatever. That was awesome.
Happy wags, happy wags.
They are very dog-friendly to well-behaved dogs. Mm-hmm. They're on big grounds, lots of places to walk, grassy area. They have doggy pickup stations with trash cans and doggy poop bags. The dogs are allowed on the beach. These signs say leashed dogs, but we have heard that nobody bothers the dogs off leash as long as they're well behaved. There were a few barkers when they were out and about, but
nothing bad.
Nothing bad.
No.
My boys and I had one negative experience. The owners had tied their dog up, opened their motel room door, and the dog could get about 6 foot out the door without anybody supervising him. And when Bashir and Sisko and I walked out, he charged us, which got my guys reactive. Oh my God, oh my God. But other than that, it was very good. For the most part, people seemed to clean up after their dogs nicely.
Well, the rooms were comfortable.
Oh, the room. It's a resort.
Rooms. Yeah, it was beautiful.
You had the chain of Motel 6. I love them. We stay at them a lot.
Yeah. Right.
But the one we'd been at the previous night, and then to go to the
gosh, night and day.
Motel 6 in Morro Bay was Cinderella, and Cavalier Best Western Resort was the Princess Castle.
Oh yeah. I mean, we each had a sliding glass door which faced out towards the ocean, and it had a little grass area right outside. Had a patio with chairs. Liz and I sat there for a little bit. It was just nice.
Yes.
Fireplaces in each room.
Yeah. It was awesome.
That's nice.
And their room service, again, we're traveling off season, but their room service prices from a very good restaurant were very reasonable.
Oh my gosh.
Whereas room service is usually horrendous, and the food was very good.
And a Keurig coffee pot maker in each room.
Oh, Kate and I were happy. I think I had 3 or 4 cups just because I could.
Little K-cups. Yeah. And good food.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very good food.
And the staff was so nice. And
the staff was
wonderful.
wonderful.
To be enjoying what they were doing.
Oh, yeah. I was on, Halloween. They were cleaning rooms with a mask on.
Yeah, this one room service housekeeping guy came in. He had a skull mask on and like work clothes, jeans and a t-shirt, but ripped and looking like a zombie. And as he was going to a room knocking house cleaning, and then he let himself in, and it was like, oh my God, he's in costume.
And he had heard us. Liz made a mention that he had a mask on. I said, really? Where? And the guy turns around. I'm like, oh, cool. I mean, I can't imagine walking into a room. The people are still sleeping, and they didn't. And they didn't answer. And here he walks in with his mask. Scare the heck out of everybody. It was great.
How well can a zombie clean a room?
Well, I'm sure he takes the mask off to do the cleaning, but
leaving little bits of flesh behind.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was great. The staff was wonderful.
So that day and night were absolutely wonderful. And the next morning, we walked the beach again before we took off for our trek north.
We walked the beach. The dogs tore up and down and up and down.
Yes. We walked the beach. The dogs ran and ran and ran and ran. Okay, and I have to talk again about Bashir in the water. I was so proud of him. He didn't jump in the surf, and that's fine. You know, Sisko, the Arizona puppy, he jumped in the surf. And I do think Bashir was trying to protect all the other dogs and us from the surf. Because he often kept himself between the surf and us and the other dogs. And, he does like to be playground supervisor.
But he was keeping that dangerous undertoad at bay.
Yes. He was barking at it.
Yep.
A lot.
Heard about that.
A lot.
Big amphibious undertoad.
Yes. So anyway, we did the beach again before we loaded up and moved on. And day 3, we headed north through Big Sur and up to the Rosehaven cabins.
That was a journey.
Yeah.
Poor Kate.
Kate and Sisko both got some motion sickness meds, but unfortunately we didn't get enough indicate fast enough.
The drive was quite windy, and I think all you said, Liz, was it, Kate, let me know when you want to pull over.
No,
or
holler if you need me to pull over.
Yeah, and Kate goes, holler. We're like, pull over quickly.
Well, I kept looking at her in the rearview mirror. I kept looking back at her.
And greenish tone.
Palish green. And, I'd asked her a couple times if she was okay. And I'd see her trying to sleep in the back, her eyes closed. So my eyeballs kept going to her often. And, yeah, that one time
when she pulled out the doggy bag, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
The poopy bag came out. Oh.
And when
I thought it was being very quiet and subtle.
No, we'd been watching you.
Yeah.
When it gets, Kate's not the loud one. Petra and I have that on her. But when Kate gets really quiet,
something's wrong.
Really quiet. So, anyway, she lost her oatmeal. I don't think she's going to be eating oatmeal much.
But I made it out of the car.
Yes, you did. Very proud of you.
Out of Liz's new car.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Both times, it has been oatmeal for breakfast and driving on a curvy road with Liz that I have lost my oatmeal breakfast. Is there a pattern here?
But I really like curvy roads.
Yeah, I know you do.
Wee! So,
yeah.
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 So I don't think Kate's going to be riding with me at least in the back seat on curvy roads, and probably not oatmeal for breakfast. I think she's lost her taste for oatmeal.
I'm off oatmeal for a while, I will say.
But anyway, the Rosehaven cabins, and if you all want to Google it, it's rosehavencabins.com. This couple, the Georges, are in the Redwoods. What, about 5 miles in from Highway 1?
No, it's 3.5 miles from Highway 1, inland.
3.5 miles inland from Highway 1, and there's an oak forest with Douglas firs and coastal redwoods, and they have
beautiful
2 cabins that they rent out, and they're rustic. They have water, and they have electricity.
And they have a nice little heater.
They have plumbing.
But it's on the porch.
Uh-huh.
We'll let Petra tell you about that.
Well, the owner, George?
Yeah. Douglas. Douglas George.
Does say you will be out there and you and your dog can pee together.
I think the California Dog Lover's Guide put it well.
Right.
But it was...
you and your dog will have one more experience that you can share in that you both relieved yourself outside.
Yep. Uh-huh. Well, yeah.
Now, it's attached to the house.
It is private. I mean...
It's on a deck that's 12 foot overlooking...
And no one can see you. It is extremely private. I mean, using the toilet wasn't too bad. Then it was the shower.
Okay, now I got to put a word in for the claw-footed bathtub. It's deep, it's long, and last night, our first night here, and the hot water is hot.
It is. The water is hot.
Yeah. Lavender bubble bath, lavender bath scrub, laying in that tub, relaxing, looking up at the stars and listening to the crickets. It was awesome.
You did walk back into the cabin going, that was awesome. Yep.
But nobody else has taken a bath yet.
No. So Kate and I did the shower thing separately.
Which is fun.
Well, you didn't have to add that.
And at dawn. So it wasn't too bright out.
It's not the shower or the bath outside. It's the fact that last night it was so cold.
Yeah, but you're so nice and warm from the bath. I wasn't chilly when I didn't even have the robe on.
Well, I mean, the shower...
Really?
No.
The shower wasn't too bad. I had it nice and warm, so it felt good. But it wasn't that cold this morning.
It wasn't that cold.
No, this morning was good.
It was nice, and it felt nice.
But it just felt still weird.
But I can't believe,
My dog was confused.
Because you're walking around last night with a T-shirt on, and I've got on my shirt and jacket and a muffler.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't feel the cold.
You don't
like
feel the cold, so you can get out at the top and say, "Oh, that was all very nice and warm," and I go, it's all been ruined by 15 feet to the door.
The dogs crack me up because they'll go to the bathroom area and they come back over here and they go like, wow.
They can't figure it out.
No, that's strange.
I'm used to never going alone, but they can't quite figure out.
No.
Well, we can just come and go and come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no door to the bathroom. What's Mom doing out here?
Actually, I have to say that my first experience here at Rosehaven was heart-stopping.
Oh, now the cabin is built on the side of a gorge, and it's quite deep, quite steep, and there's a creek at the bottom. And they did it because the view is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And you feel like you're in a treehouse.
Yes,
you do.
Well, they call it a treehouse.
Yeah.
You look out and you just see these great mature trees, and you're about halfway up them.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
And they're big.
It's beautiful.
And
so it's a wonderful view.
the deck goes around 3 sides of the cabin, the bathroom being on one side. And behind the cabin, overlooking the gorge, there's a picnic table and a grill and some lounge chairs.
We ate all our meals out there. It's so nice.
Yeah. And we were standing out there.
There is a railing.
Yeah.
Nice size.
A standard. I mean, we don't worry about the Aussies
It's
going
not
through.
solid.
Right.
But it's got 3 rails on it and the top rail.
Uh-huh. You can talk about your boy.
But the
And then
picnic
there's
table
Walter.
is over right up against the side of the rail. And so we were hanging there looking out.
We hadn't been here very long.
Yeah.
And I was on the other end checking out the outside because the patio doesn't go all the way around or the deck to
the 4th side.
Yeah, well, would be probably west side. So I was kind of leaning around checking it out.
And Walter jumped on top of the picnic table, and then he goes, "What you looking at, Petra?" And he jumped to the top of the railing.
Which is a 2x4, flat, wide 2x4.
And did a very nice little sit while he was craning his neck to look. And Liz went...
And all I remember is my arm coming around, scooping him right off that rail.
I was
God,
at
my
the
heart stopped.
I was at the other end of the picnic table and so could not reach him. And I just froze for fear he would do something. And yes, inhaled, gasped. Petra was within
there.
arm reach. And all I could see was her reaching around and sweeping him. But there was that second where heart stopped and time stopped. Time slowed.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she swept him back onto the picnic table, I think all 3 of us needed a CPR. It was like,
Time slowed down. I could hear can I say this on the radio? But as you were sweeping, I was going, shit. I won't finish it because it's radio. But it seemed like it just took me forever to get that one syllable out.
And the thing is if he'd have gone down, he'd have died. It was a long way down. He'd have been gone. Thank God Petra was within arm reach.
Oh, God,
the next day, you were out walking with the Aussies, and you said you looked at them and said, "Hey, boys, that's the trail down there." And they looked back at you and said, "We're not going down that trail. That's ridiculous."
And that's absolutely true. I offered my 2 very athletic dogs the chance to run down that trail if they wanted to. Now, I wasn't going down, but if they wanted to, and they both, including the adolescent puppy, looked at me like, "You're nuts. I'm not going down there." Nuts. And they didn't even take a step. So that's how steep that gorge was.
But anyway,
Crazy.
he's safe, and I didn't have to go down after him.
Yeah. We didn't have to tie a rope to Kate and belay her down. That would have been like rappelling without proper equipment.
Yeah.
That
would have been a bad end to
that would have
just
ruined
getting
the
the trip going. But,
yes.
But thankfully, he's okay because of Petra's quick reactions.
That's for sure.
That was crazy.
And
But
if he
come on, the
even
drive
looks
here.
over there
Oh,
anymore,
yeah.
we
No,
yell
we're
at
just
him.
going to,
Yeah.
Now, the drive to get here is also, I think it's just, well, it's either a ride in Disneyland, kind of like Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Or
crossed with Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah, or where goblins live in Harry Potter.
It's a transition zone. You're on the coast and the bright blue sunshine and the waves
Pacific
crashing.
Ocean.
And just shh.
Yeah.
And then you make this turn.
Turn
and
on
within
this road.
250 feet.
You're in this
the
dark...
redwoods close in.
Yeah.
And the gorge, the sides of the gorge close in.
And it's a one-lane road.
One-lane, windy road.
Winding.
And the sign says, turn on your headlights.
Because it's so dark.
In the middle of the day. It is so dark.
And you're literally weaving, for those of you who do dog agility, you're weaving your car around these huge redwood trees.
And the side of the gorge.
And the side of the gorge.
One or the other.
Yeah.
And these houses are small cabins with moss on the sides and people in them.
And it looks
perched, and they're perched.
And they're perched. Yeah, the houses are perched on the side of the hill.
Yeah. Or in the gorge.
We saw one staircase cut into the side of... We couldn't count how many. There were like 40 or 50 steps, and we still hadn't seen the top of it.
It had to go up 150, 200 feet. I mean,
and somebody was there because their car was at the bottom of it.
Yeah. I hope they have good knees.
Yeah. Honey, would you go check the mail?
And
oh my God, I'll be back in 2 hours.
And then there's the driveway down here to our cabin. Now,
and about halfway through, you break through for a little bit of a clearing, and you go, the sun is back, life is good again, and then you enter again.
Yeah.
It is, I'm thinking more like something out of The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Everything is good now, back into the Valley of the Orcs again. But
now, the vehicle that we took on this vacation was my brand new 2-week-old Ford Flex.
Yep.
It is still a 2-week-old brand new Ford Flex. You said was.
Yeah, it is.
It's fine. Nothing happened to it.
Nope, I took good care of it.
Yes. All-wheel drive.
Yes. Thank God.
Thank God. Now, the driveway down to the cabin is just barely 1 car wide. Mm-hmm. It's heavily graveled because I bet during rainy season the water rushes down like the Big Sur River. And there's a very sharp turn after it goes down in front of our cabin and then down to the second cabin where there's just barely room. He said a 3-point turnaround. It's more like a 8-point turnaround.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have a smart car, you could do donuts down there.
But for a regular size car. And let's just say about halfway down the driveway the first time, I had my foot on the brake, totally off the gas, and the car was still sliding quite well, all by itself.
Well, in addition to the gravel, there is a lot of tree litter.
Yeah.
And redwood, that little fine redwood litter and ferns.
Thankfully, though, the all-wheel drive did kick in again.
Yeah.
But then once I turned it around and we went to drive back up, apparently my car isn't the only one that is skidded on the gravel.
No.
There's some pretty good ruts that are full of gravel.
Yes.
So when we moved the car today, Petra got to drive it.
Yeah. So, haven't driven Liz's car yet? Nope. First time. Had to drive up this little tiny...
And let's just say, I didn't ride with her. I waited at the top and took a picture, so you guys can check our blog later, and I'll have a picture of it for you.
So, Kate's on the passenger side. I had to crawl over through the passenger side to get to the driver's side because we had to plaster it against the hillside. So, it was as close as possible for the other cabin person to park her car. But it was like, hey, Kate, how much room do I have on the passenger side? I've only got a few inches on the driver's side. And with just momentum and steady, we made it through. And I've been never thankful to get to the top of this hill.
And the reason why I gave it to Petra, in case you're wondering, is her dad was a race car driver and mechanic. Her brother is a race car driver. And her dad taught her to drive.
Yeah.
So...
precision driving, and you gotta know your
And so I had the utmost faith in her. Plus, before I walked up the hill to wait for her, my last words were, "I love my car, and I love the 25-year friendship we have. Don't mess either of them up." And then I went up the hill and stood with bated breath and camera pointed down.
Yep.
So tonight the
I think
car
we
is-
held our breath, huh, Kate? The whole time up. I think we held our breath. Okay, we can do this.
It came up nice and steady.
Yes, it did.
I heard the
It
gravel,
did.
and it was all very nice and steady. Yep. And I had the camera pointed. And tonight, the white dragon is parked at the top of the driveway.
Yes.
Granted, we would like to be able to watch her, but she's better up there.
Yeah, we're not coming down this road yet.
When you do meet a vehicle coming the other direction, it is an interesting game of chicken.
Yes.
As to who's going to pull
The
over.
residents obviously drive it. They're used to this road. They drive it very fast.
Yeah.
And there's
some little
pullouts.
Yeah.
Their cars are all beat up.
I mean, and there are little pullouts. And luckily today...
Tiny pullouts.
But luckily today, every car that I came across in this tiny road, there was a little bit of a pullout.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, suck it in, everybody. We're moving to the right.
So after we got settled in and we took the dogs for a little bit of a walk up the road, we actually ran into a traffic jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
In the middle of nowhere up here, one pickup pulling a single horse trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2-horse trailer.
Trailer, but one horse.
And then the guy behind it had a truck with a huge, long person trailer.
Ah.
It was a camping trailer. And then those two impatient trucks behind them.
Who were trying to pass.
And we're trying to walk on one side of this one-lane road. And everyone's trying to pass each other.
With a gorge on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I was involved looking at the free pictures by the side of the road.
And I took off like, I'm out of here. There's way too many cars and they're bigger than me.
Well, I was taken off after Petra, but then Ranger stopped to talk to me about the dogs. But hold on, we got to take a break for our sponsors. We'll be right back. Hold on.
Sit. Stay. It's a doggy dog world. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
It's the holidays at PetSmart, so come one and all. There are hundreds of gifts for pets big and pets small. Toys only at PetSmart, so special and new. They'll love the gifts. You'll love the value. Hurry to PetSmart today for your very best friend and save 30 to 50% before the holiday ends.
The holidays are just around the corner. Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart and save up to 30% on awesome gifts for the pets and pet people in your life. Toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. So shop early and save money. Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart today.
Dyson.
The new Dyson Animal Vacs are powerful bagless upright vacuums for homes with pets. Air muscle and radio root cyclone technology generates the strongest suction power to powerfully remove dust, dirt, and pet hair from the home or car. To order your Dyson Animal Vac, go to PetLifeRadio.com/Dyson. PetLifeRadio.com/Dyson to order your Dyson Animal Vac today.
Dyson. Music to your ears.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to PetMeds.com/world, WORLD, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at PetMeds.com.
Hi, this is Ken Jones from the Prince of Ponds podcast. The frogs are shaking the shakers, the turtles are hitting the slapsticks, and the koi are blowing the trumpets. It's party time here at Prince of Ponds. Out under the swaying palm trees, the pond fairies are kicking up their heels and spinning in delight in the twilight. Here on Pet Life Radio, it's time to celebrate the magic of ponds, waterfalls, fountains, and water gardens at the Prince of Ponds podcast.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palaika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Okay, we're back. And we really got chatting about our vacation. But anyway, so we had taken the dogs for a walk. We met a traffic jam, and a ranger recognized that Petra's and my dogs were Australian Shepherds. Well, I stopped to chat with him, and you guys don't know how unusual that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let them explain.
So you probably have heard Paul had passed away a few months ago. The joke is, though, Paul, Liz's husband, always would chit-chat with everybody. You would be his friend after,
5 minutes.
If that, at the time.
Yeah.
Liz is not a chit-chat.
No.
She's never been, in the 25 years I've known her, stopped to chit-chat. That doesn't happen.
We got places to go and things to do.
Yes. And it's usually yes is an Aussie and takes on going, doesn't stop to say anything else, or no, it's not a border collie, it doesn't have a tail, blah, blah, blah.
It's not supposed to have a tail.
Yeah.
It's not that places to go, people to see, things to do.
We strongly believe that Paul is training Liz.
Thumping her on the back of the head.
From the great beyond.
Mm-hmm. So she now stops, and it totally amazes Kate and I, and she chit-chats.
So during the traffic jam on this one-lane road,
she was chit-chatting.
As a truck and a trailer were arguing over who could go on the road, the ranger recognized that our dogs were Australian Shepherds, and he and I were chatting. Yeah. And when I caught up with Petra and Kate came up behind, they were looking at me like I had gone soft in the head.
Yeah.
We just had to close our mouths.
I know. It's like, okay.
And then I realized myself that, by God, I chatted with the man.
Normally, I think she would have said, here, hold the dog's leashes, gone out to the front and said, you will back up, you will wait, and she would have directed traffic.
Yeah, normally.
Well,
but
the lady...
she chit-chatted.
Yes. The lady who was driving the horse trailer got out of her truck, and she was doing a pretty damn good job.
Okay.
I heard her giving orders.
I liked her.
Yeah.
If
you sideswipe this trailer, you will...
Yeah.
She was doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So... Anyway, that was our first day up here at Rosehaven Cabins. Now, the night actually was not bad at all. I think we were a little worried it would get cold, but the beds were well furnished, comforters and quilts.
And it's so quiet out here, and you have acorns falling from the trees and pine cones. So you have things going tonk, boom, on rooftops and on the deck and
which
everything.
Makes the dogs.
So we thought, okay, the dog's going to be noisy all night, not sleep. But everybody was peaceful.
I think they were so tired. It was the third day of the trip.
Once again, a tired dog is a better behaved dog.
Yes.
5 dogs conked out, including us 3 owners, conked out to the world, and it was a nice, quiet evening.
Yeah. Well, my terrier jumped into his crate way before bedtime.
Like 7 o'clock at night.
I had to drag him out for a last potty break.
Yeah. So that was great.
And so the morning of the 4th day, which is today, we're recording this in the evening, we got up, took the dogs out and about, had breakfast here, took a leisurely morning, and then Kate and Petra drove the car up the driveway, and I met him at the top, and Petra drove us into Carmel.
I had so much fun.
I think she likes my new car.
I had so much fun.
And
I sat in the front seat and I didn't get sick.
Yeah, so I may be taking the rest of the trip in the back seat. But that's okay. It's a very comfortable back seat, and Petra enjoys driving my car, so that's fine. But Carmel is a very dog-friendly little town.
It is.
Very dog-friendly little town. Now, there is a book called The Dog Lover's Guide to California. I believe there are others in the series for other states. I know they don't have all 50 yet, and I don't know if they have other countries. But The Dog Lover's Guide to California, the writer has taken her dog, and I can't remember what his name is, and the book is up in the car, but to all these places, and she takes input from other people who have visited these places, and she puts little reviews in the book. She recommended this restaurant called The Forge, Forge, The Forge in the Forest. It has what they call the dog pound, an enclosed patio that's for dog owners and their dogs. This was the best lunch I have had in years.
The staff was great. The food was great.
They brought bowls of water out for the dogs. Now, granted, we went in there with 5 dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, you show up, and it's a lovely little kind of cottage feel.
Yes.
In downtown Carmel.
Just a few steps below the sidewalk, so you feel, and go up, and we hear the hostess, and she says, "Oh, okay, you're here, and you've got friends, great." And then she grabs everything up and says, "We'll be going in," and I'm like, "Oh,
to the dog patio.
We're going into the back door. We're getting shunted off to the side again."
Yeah.
Oh no!
It was wonderful. Actually,
no.
I think the patio for the dogs, they call it the dog pound, is better than the upper one where the dogless people were eating.
Yeah. The tables were a little farther apart.
Yeah.
There's still, 9 or 10 tables?
Yeah.
There's a big tree, a scrub oak in the center that arches over so it's shaded. Mm-hmm. The wait staff or the hostess came out with bowls of water immediately for the dogs.
Right away.
They gave us the menus, and then the head chef came out, who's a dog lover. His name is Gene. We got to say a thank you to Gene.
Oh, Gene was awesome.
He has 3 labs and a 14-year-old pitty.
A chocolate pitty with a red nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe he said her name was Rosie. Was it Rosie? I don't know. I might have the name wrong.
Mama Dog or something.
Yeah,
I remember.
But 14 years old. So anyway, he came out with a dish of miniature dog biscuits, and he came out and greeted the dogs and greeted us. They have a dog menu. They give us our menus, but they also have a dog menu. You could have a variety of dog treats, including the little miniature milk bones, chicken breast, white chicken breast meat, grilled, cut up in little half-inch squares, steak.
For the really good dogs.
And they said for the really, really good dogs, cooked steak. But anyway, he was talking with us, and we asked for the dog menu, and he gave it to us. And we said, "Oh, the chicken. Yeah, that sounds good. The boys could have a little bit of chicken without upsetting their tummies, their diet." So he brought out individual bowls of chicken before we'd even given our order for our lunch.
I know. And it looked like good chicken. It was
smelled
moist.
good, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And it wasn't too hot.
No.
I mean, they used to go to this place that had a dog menu as well. But they would bring the food right out, but it would be really hot. And then you'd have to cool it down, and the dogs would be looking at you going, "That's mine."
Yeah.
And I can't have it yet.
Yeah.
But it was warm but not too hot.
Yeah.
Cooked through.
Yeah.
Very
Great.
nice.
But the food for the people was awesome, too. Oh, my gosh. I'm on a diet, and they have a low-carb menu. Mm-hmm. The turkey melt with no bread with the side salad was absolutely awesome. And I have to say, 2/3 of the turkey came home here to the cabin with us.
And he said that they roast their own turkeys there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was moist
roasting.
because I took a bite. That was very moist.
Yeah.
It was good.
So if you're ever in Carmel or you want a special place to go to the Forge in the Forest. It's in downtown Carmel.
With or without a dog.
With or without a dog.
Food.
And but
food.
if you go with the dog, say hi to the head chef, Gene. He was absolutely
cool.
He was absolutely awesome. He came down and talked and visited with us and the dogs 4 or 5 times during lunch.
We cannot not talk about dessert.
Oh. We did not intend to have dessert. As I said, I'm on a diet. But we split it 3 ways.
It was worth splurging.
Yes. I'll take 3 extra walks. But it was worth splurging.
What do you call
It's
it?
a banana cream torte.
Yeah.
With a caramel base.
Yes. With homemade whipped cream with a ripe strawberry on the top. Sliced bananas on the top of the torte.
So good.
And the crust of the torte was from his wife's recipe.
And the caramel was crystallized a bit or something on the top. Because
Yeah.
it was
caramelized.
Caramelized, I mean.
It was
to die for. It was good.
He said it took him 13 years to get the recipe for the
his
crust
wife,
from
was
his
it?
wife. And it was wonderful because the crust was not sweet. And so with the sweetness of...
But it was still moist.
But yet it was still moist. So with the sweetness of the homemade whipped cream, which also wasn't overly sweet.
Nope.
The sweetness of the torte, it was just
It was
awesome.
good.
It was
just...
I mean, this is not a gourmet restaurant, although it's a very fine restaurant, very nice restaurant. But that was a gourmet dessert.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beautifully presented. Yeah. Wonderful wait staff.
Yes.
They were there for a problem and left us alone otherwise.
Yeah.
Said
although
hi, were
Jean did like to come out and talk with us. Yeah. And that was fine. We enjoyed talking with Jean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wonderful. If you're in Carmel or you want a special place to go, the Forge in the Forest. Very nice. And then we came back here to the cabins.
Went grocery shopping and came back.
Yeah.
Yep. But I was actually impressed. Many people knew what the Aussies were.
Right.
Many of them can point out the Qwill. Oh, that's a Jack Russell. And they look at Walter.
And go, what's that?
Walter.
He's a mutt.
Well, one woman corrected you. You said he's a mutt, and she said he's a cockapoo.
I said, yes, ma'am, you're right.
He's a cockapoo.
She said, I have one at home.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I was surprised how many people are like, oh, Australian Shepherds.
Yeah.
We did sneak in a small hike.
Yes, we did.
Morning.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we did.
The Garland Ranch Preserve, and it was just a very, very nice place to walk your dog.
In South Carmel. I believe it's in Carmel Heights.
Carmel Valley.
Or Carmel Valley, yeah.
It was, from Highway 1, 10 miles east.
Yeah. Very, very dog-friendly.
The horses, hikers, dog walkers.
Beautiful little stream.
It was nice at the dog potty stations everywhere with
plastic
trash
bags.
and everything out there, too.
We were a little disappointed that, picking up dog poo is important to us, not simply because we love poo, but because if you don't pick up dog poo, then pretty soon dogs get exiled.
Yeah.
People justifiably get disgusted.
Well,
and unfortunately, there were several places on the hike. And granted, it's in wildlands, but if dogs are allowed, it needs to be picked up. And
responsible dog ownership.
Yes.
And my dog tried. He pooped, and I picked it up, and I thought, we got a good mile to go, so I'll just tie it onto my backpack. And then I took 5 steps, and there was the trash can.
Yes.
It's great.
Nicely I mean, it was so convenient.
Yeah. Well, and Qwill tried to help the horse owners, too. He tried to pick up the road apples.
I still don't understand how they can pick up after their horses.
I don't know, but that was an interesting sign. Please pick up after your horses.
Now, we're gone way over our time for our podcast, but we have to talk about...
we had so much fun.
We have to talk about one more thing. Keeping dogs occupied when you're traveling, when you're away from home. Chewies. I brought a variety of different kinds of chewies. We brought deer antlers and elk antlers. We got Himalayan yak cheese chews. We got schnoozles and muzzles and pizzles.
Any izzle you like to know? Yeah. We've got
Bring stuff to keep them occupied. Bring dog crates. Extra leashes, collars.
Dog towels, because we've had to use them a few times.
Towels. Make sure you've got tags on your dogs with the cell phone numbers. Not your home number, cell phone numbers.
Don't forget a brush.
Mm-hmm. I went out and got tags for each of my guys before we left that has each of your phone numbers.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, perfect.
So, although we are,
for the trip.
Where we are right now, there's no cell phone service, but
nope,
we keep them close. But we also picked up, if you're a regular listener to our podcast, we love the Nina Ottoson Mind Games for dogs. And if you go to the kindredspiritscanine.com website, we have a link there if you haven't seen what the Nina Ottoson toys are. But there are a variety of companies who have made less expensive versions. They're not always as good because her better ones are plastic, and so they don't get all gummy or you can easily wash them. But we picked up an inexpensive one today at the pet store.
Well, CVS, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to give CVS credit because last year they had a plastic one that I'm still using.
Yeah.
Again, fairly simple, but nice and easy to clean. This one is the pressed fiberboard.
Yeah.
So it gets a little gummy after a couple of dogs have played with it and drooled on it, and it's not as easy to clean.
Right.
But it was, what,
$10? Yeah.
And there was a puzzle on each side of it.
So we did that this evening.
And the dogs had a blast. Of course, it took 2 of us to hold 4 while one played with one dog.
And these are obedience-trained dogs, but they also know what the toys are, what the games are. And when I cut up some little pieces of turkey and got the puzzle ready for the first dogs, all 5 of them were losing their minds.
Oh, yeah.
My turn.
And it's fun to watch. All 5 had a different technique.
Yes.
How were they going to get these treats out of this thing? You know, some Bashir take it and let's just shake it and it'll all come out eventually.
Bashir is brute force. He knows there's treats in there, and he's my dog. He's not very patient. Pick it up and shake that sucker. Yep. It usually works. Yep. Sisko's a thinker. Yeah. He's slow and deliberate and
very careful.
Very careful. Yeah. Walter's...
Oh, pound on it with your foot.
Yeah.
Just pound, beat
keep digging
it.
Dig, it'll eventually show up.
Yeah.
Sisko was...
Rio?
Rio was...
a little bit of... I don't know.
He's halfway in between Bashir and Sisko.
Yeah, he'll try this nose. Oh, that's not working. Let me try to grab it with my teeth.
Yeah. Or bite it.
Bite it. Yeah.
And then I'll get distracted. Look, there's an antler.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But, I was proud of little Quill.
Especially when you brought him home, he had no problem-solving skills.
I couldn't get him... The first toy had to be the empty water bottle with some kibble in it, just so he could learn to hunt for his own food.
And manipulate it.
I could feel him sitting next to me watching the other dogs, his whole body quivering.
Yeah.
He couldn't wait to get right in there.
Yeah. He did great.
Yeah. So stuff like this, it adds to what you're packing and what you're carrying in the car, but it helps keep the dogs busy, uses their brain as well as their body, and, adds to the trip. We sat here and laughed while all 5 dogs took turns. So, it's well.
And now they're crashed.
And now they're all crashed. So, anyway, I think that'll end it for this podcast, but we got another half a week of vacation to go, so we'll record another one in a few more days, and when we get home, we'll send these in. So that's it from the Rosehaven Cabins
in Big Sur
in the Pacific Redwood Forest. So that's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.